Alright. So this is
If there was a maximum that said like 6:30 or something,
that
it would
would-
be over.
Okay.
But because that's the minimum, it's still
Good.
within.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yes.
So this is our example for, this is part 2 of the output replacement rates. So we are trying to calculate his input and output and his minimum output requirement and minimum fluid requirement. And so basically we know our patient weighs 15 kilograms and he had an input of 650 milliliters in 12 hours. The 12 hours part is important to note. And we know his output was 200 milliliters, right? So the first thing that we did was we calculated his maximum fluid requirement. And so in order to do that, we refer back to the formula we had just worked through in another video, and we know that for the first 10 kilograms of their weight, we multiply it by 100 milliliters, which gave us 1,000. And then for the second 10 kilograms of his weight, we multiply it by 50, but he only had 5 left over, so we just multiply that by 50, which gives us 250 milliliters for a total of 1,250 milliliters as his 24-hour fluid requirement for maintenance. Since this is in the 24-hour format though, we need to make it comparable to our 12-hour version. So we're going to divide this number we have by 2, which gives us 625 milliliters for our 24-hour period. And so we know since he had 650, he met that requirement of an input of 625 milliliters in 12 hours. And then moving on to our output requirements, we know he had an output of 200 milliliters, so we're going to figure out if that was within our range. And so we know the range for formula for minimum output requirements is 1 to 2 milliliters per kilogram per hour. And so what we're going to do to figure this out is we're going to take our weight again. We have 15 kilograms here as our patient's weight, same as up here. And we're going to multiply that by the low end of our scale to find our low range. So we multiply 15 by 1, which gives us 15 milliliters. And then again, this is in our hourly format. We're going to want to convert this to 12 hours, just like we did up here. And so we multiply our 15 by 12, which gives us 180 milliliters for our low end of the scale. And then for our high end of the scale, we're going to come back to our weight of 15 kilograms and multiply it by now the high end of our formula, which is 2 milliliters, which gives us 30 milliliters per hour as our high end of the scale, and then again switch to our 12-hour format, which gives us 360 milliliters as our high end of the scale. And then we refer back to our output of 200 milliliters, putting us right here, well within our range for minimum output requirements. So he is all good on all accounts.
So for these types of questions, we're figuring out the minimum and the maximum. The input and the output, I'm sorry.
They're both minimum, but you're figuring out the minimum fluid requirements and the minimum output requirements. So input and output. How much do you need to input? How much do you need to output to be okay?
Okay.
Based on their body weight.
Okay. Gotcha.